If you've ever bought a house in your life or you've been recently thinking about buying a house, then there's a good chance that you've heard the myth that you need 20% down in order to buy a house. Well, I'm here to bust that myth. I don't know how in 2020, with all of the free information that's available on the internet, just like this YouTube video, that this somehow is still a belief that people hold. But somehow it is. I have an important announcement that I want to make in this video too. Some of you have been reaching out to me via email asking me for my help or my advice or my opinion regarding moving to Florida or real estate or things like that. And I'm proud to announce to you today that as of now, I'm going to start accepting one-on-one consulting calls. So if this is something you're interested in doing, I'll have a link down in the description of this video and all of my future videos if you're interested in jumping on a call with me. It is something that you'll have to pay for, of course, but hey guys, time is the most valuable asset we all have, and there's only so much of it, so I have to charge for this type of service. I give plenty of free information here on YouTube. I answer all of the comments, but if you want to get more information than that and you want to talk to me one-on-one, I will happily jump on a call with you, but of course for a fee. So the link is down below. Now, I've been a realtor here in Miami Beach for the past 11 years, and since then, this has never been true. There have always been programs where you've been able to buy a house with less money down than 20%, but at some point in the past, this might have been true. I'm not really sure. If you do know, put it down in the comments below. So why do people even believe this myth to begin with? Well, I think it's largely in part because in order to buy some properties, mainly investment properties or commercial real estate, usually you do need to put 20% down or more. Another reason that this myth could have been perpetuated is because if you put down less than a 20% down payment, then you have to pay what is called as PMI, which stands for Private Mortgage Insurance. But what a lot of people don't realize is you only have to pay that PMI up until you have 20% equity in the property. So let's say you put a 10% down payment and it takes you 5 more years to reach a 20% equity stake in that property. After 5 years of making that mortgage payment, you would no longer have to pay the PMI on your property. A lot of people think they're going to be losing a ton of money if they pay the PMI, but the reality is usually it's actually a very low part of your mortgage payment and doesn't affect things too much in the long run. So that's another way that this myth could have started, because people, they want to save as much money as possible, and at some point the myth may have started like, hey, if you put down less than 20% on your property, then you're going to have to pay this PMI and you're going to lose a ton of money over the long run, and that's just not true. So how much money do you actually need to buy a property? It depends on the type of property that you're looking to buy. If you plan on buying a residential property that you are going to live in yourself, you would be able to buy this property for as little as 3% down if you went with the FHA program, and it could be as far as 0% down if you're a veteran and you qualify for the VA loan program. It's also really important to note that if you're going to do a VA or an FHA loan, especially in a condo here in Florida, then that condo needs to be FHA approved, or it's going to be impossible for you to actually get an FHA or a VA loan for the condo if it's not approved to get that type of loan. In that case, you will have to put down at least 20% to buy most condos. I said this in one of my other videos as well. Usually to buy a condo here in Florida, it's necessary to put down between 20 and 30% down. But usually with FHA loans or a VA loan, the best thing to do is to buy a single family house. And then besides all the red tape with the lending and the paperwork, the house just has to be in a certain condition. Like there has to be so many years left on the life of the roof and things like that, and you'll be all right. But in general, it's going to be a lot easier to purchase a single family home with an FHA or VA loan than it will be to purchase a condo. For most other people, if you don't want to go through one of those avenues, you can still do a conventional loan with usually as little as 5% down. You do not have to put 20% down, and you can actually put down more if you have more and you want to have a little bit more equity in the property and not have as high of a payment every single month. The less you put down, the higher your monthly payment will be. And if you're wondering why you would actually want to put more money down besides saving money on the payment, Well, a lot of reasons that I've seen in my own experience and with my own clients, they just don't want to go through all of the hassle and the red tape that come with the government VA and FHA programs, because in order to close those deals, the property has to tick off a lot of boxes, and it usually takes a lot longer to close those types of loans, and sellers are a lot more reluctant to accept offers that have those types of contingencies in them. So now that we've completely debunked the myth that you need 20% down to buy a house, what should you do if you're actually looking to buy something in your area? The first thing that you're really going to need to do next is you're going to have to research your local real estate market and find out exactly how much money you will need specifically to buy the house that you want to buy. House prices vary tremendously compared to different states and different cities, and also the amount of income that you make and that you're able to save. These will all be different factors that play into how much money you're going to need to save and how much you should be putting down on the property that you plan on buying. You know, if you're going to buy a house that only costs $100,000 and you're going to do 5% down, that's only $5,000 versus a house that's like $500,000. That's a whole nother story. I mean, now we're talking at least $20,000 down or more. The other thing that you want to do is you want to look into local government programs that might offer some down payment assistance. A lot of people are unaware that these programs even exist, but some of them will actually cover up to 10 or 15% down of your down payment, and making it so you virtually have to put almost no money down in order to buy a home. Not everyone will qualify for these programs. There are different parameters that you have to meet in order to qualify, but it's worth checking into to see if this is something that you can get your hands on. For example, here in Miami Beach, they offer a similar program, but one of the catches to this is that you must live in the property for a minimum of 15 years after you buy it. You're not allowed to rent it out, and you're not allowed to sell it. And if you do, you must repay the money that was given to you as a down payment gift. And going back to what I said as far as finding the right property and researching your market, you also want to figure out what's going to be the right down payment for you based on how much you want to be paying every single month for your mortgage. You know, if you'd rather have a much lower payment, then you're going to want to put more money down. If you don't care about having a higher payment and you just want to get into a property sooner than later, then putting the lower down payment might be the right step for you. If you made it to this point, you guys have gotten a little bit smarter and are just a little bit wiser when it comes to purchasing a home. The next thing I want you to do is to go ahead and watch some more of my videos right over here, because I think you'll enjoy them as well, and I will see you guys over there.